Welcome to Living Life, the show that allows you to pursue things that make you happy, curious, and keep you open-minded. This is Living Life on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Tony Montuori Jr. on Home Design Concepts, part of the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. I want to talk to you this month about creating the design for a pool because it will enhance the beauty of your home. It will enhance the value of your home adding a pool, but there is so much more than just the pool. There's the landscaping, there's the lighting, there's everything that goes into it. So the most important part that I always talk about is planning. And the planning starts with you in the very beginning. It's the idea. When a light bulb goes on and you say, I want to put in a pool. So you do a little sketch, and I'm going to put up that little sketch. And this little sketch is a sketch that I did of my idea of having a pool. And I wanted a sun deck where it says 7 by 10. I wanted a jacuzzi. I wanted a planter. I needed to see where the decking would be. Those are the grid marks. I needed a big tree in the corner. But this is where it starts. You draw out a little sketch, and then you find out, is this feasible? Is it engineered correctly for your backyard? Will it fit in your backyard? So the next thing you have to do is you have to get an architect involved, and he's going to draw out a plan. And then you'll get something like this. And he'll do a little plan for you, and it'll be more to scale, and you'll start seeing the idea come to fruition. So here he's got, you can see where the pool equipment is down there on the left side. You can see the steps going into the pool, and you can see some planting in the jacuzzi. So the next step after you say, yes, this is my idea and I like it, you'll move to the next step, which is a drawing. So here comes a drawing of the idea. And you start going, wow, yeah, that's exactly what I want. But this was with concrete. As you can see, the concrete decking around and the coping of the pool was all concrete. And it was a little cold for what we wanted. So our next step was to upgrade this and do paver stones. And that's where then this drawing comes in. And this drawing is the final drawing of what we accepted. And you can see that as I get closer, that those boxes around the jacuzzi is paver stones. And then you have a coping around the pool and around the jacuzzi and around the sun deck. That's called a sun deck, the portion to the left of your screen that is rectangular. And it's only 9 inches of water, and chaises will sit on that. So, and then you decide how much planting you want and where you go from there. So once you get the architect and you get a drawing and you agree on everything, the products you're going to use, the tile you're going to use inside the pool, pebble teching, are you going to have a liner? Is it going to be plaster? There's so many details. Once that's all decided, you can get a price. But in the meantime, he does several drawings for you so that you can see exactly how it's going to look from multiple angles. And this is your idea coming to fruition. So it's the backyard, and it's just going to be fantastic. So the next step was getting a price. And the company will send you out a bid, and they basically itemize everything on the bid. So everything includes a city permit, excavation, reinforcing, plumbing, equipment, gas lines, electrical, the gunite for the pool, the deck jets, the tile work, the stone, the plaster, the coping, the decking of the pavers, and then you have drains in the backyard. And then they work out a payment system for you. So once that is all okayed, you can move forward. So what I want to show you in the next about 30 minutes is the whole process of digging the hole, watching the equipment coming in, going in through the backyard, the hole, how they shape the hole. And it is a dance between the workers back and forth, how they work so eloquently together and how they meld together and really make the project come to fruition. And that is the word. So as you see, I'm going to jump in and out a lot of times with the video, but I'm just trying to show you bits and pieces of how they actually create this pool and what goes into it. After they dig the hole, you have to wet down the dirt so it doesn't collapse. Then they have to put in rebar. Then they have to put all the piping in, the plumbing, all the electrical, the gas lines. That all gets run. And then the gunite process. And it's just amazing. You'll see that blowing in gunite onto the earth walls and how it can form into very straight walls. Even in the jacuzzi, you're going to see I specifically talk about how they create walls out of air by using a wall board just to hold the concrete in place until it forms. But the guys are just amazing, the way they form it, the way they create edges around the whole pool, they smooth it out. And we're going to cut off there on this episode, showing the gunite process, and then I'll pick you up next month and we'll finish the complete look of the backyard where they do the coping, where they add the tile border in, all the paver stones going down, the entire process of planting, the lighting system, and just seeing it go from this sand plain backyard that you're going to start out with into the completed project. So remember, your idea, it's your idea that you have, and you can make it come to fruition. And I can help you. So remember to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And I'm Tony Montuori Jr. with Home Design Concepts. You can always reach out to me at interiorconcepts30@yahoo.com, and I'll be able to help you and talk you through the process and guide you. But remember, you have to do your due diligence. So watch the next 30 minutes and I'll catch up with you at the end. So today we're going to show you how to add value to your home, not just by decorating the inside. It means that the landscaping and adding a pool can add a lot of value to your home. So today is the groundbreaking day, and in order to do groundbreaking day, you need a backhoe, which is going to dig our pool. So the backhoe is getting delivered, and the extra dirt that comes out of the ground goes into a dump truck and gets taken away. And in order to get into our backyard, they have to take down our right side of the wall for the truck to be able to get in. So I'll show you the whole process here, where they're going to dig out this cement pad, and we're going to have paver stones and make this backyard absolutely gorgeous. This is just the beginning here. So when you see it done, you will just be amazed. There'll be a platform here and the pool is laid out there. And part of this process was actually watering the ground. Here in the desert, it's all sand. So in order for the ground not to cave in, we've actually had to water the ground for several hours, several days before. This keeps the earth more compacted and enables us to dig and not have the walls cave in. I'll walk you through the whole process of putting in a pool and decorating a backyard, where the rebar goes in and how exciting it will be. We're even going to remove this cement pad, which is our now patio, and replace it with paver stones. So we're just getting ready here. The pool equipment will be here and will be hidden away, and just seeing how this transformation of this backyard occurs will be amazing. But let me take you inside and show you how it all started, because the planning is always the best thing to do in any situation. If you have a good game plan and you follow through, hire good contractors, then you will have no problems. Now, there is no such thing as an unforeseen problem, but hopefully we've checked all our boxes so that we cover those unforeseen problems. Okay, I'll catch up with you in a minute. Thanks for joining us on Home Design Concepts, the Empty the Bench podcast network. And don't forget, I want you to follow us on Twitter and on Facebook, because the shows are getting more and more exciting and different as we go along. I'll join you in a second. Thanks. Before we dig, the most important thing is to lay out the pool so that all the lines are straight and symmetrical. So I'm watching them do that right now. Let me show you what they're doing. So here they're laying out all the lines, denoting where the water line is, so that when they dig this pool, they will have it exactly perfect. And so this is the jacuzzi, and down there is our water shelf, and they're really working on getting the angle correct so that both the walls are all exactly the same width. And our steps go in at the end here. So it takes a lot of geometry. So stay in school because you need your geometry. Keep watching. So I'm checking in on the guys, and they are now starting to dig that the layout's all done. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see what they're doing. I'm trying to stay inside the house so you can hear me better. So we're asking them to leave some dirt so that we can make some mounds for our architectural design of the backyard. So what they're doing is they've already left, if you can see in the corner through the glass, a mound of dirt there from digging out the pool. And now they're leaving another mound here so that we'll have a couple of different high-low areas. So not everything is so flat. You'll see when the landscaping goes in how everything changes as well. But this whole process of digging out the pool is really very precise in how they do it. Even just the way he moves this machine, he maneuvers in and out of the same spot. Pools can be dug in very small areas. So it's very fascinating to watch him and how he knows, what is 4.5 feet on one side and what is 5 feet on the other side. So here he goes again, and he's going to bring more dirt over to this other section to make a pile. And I'll just let him go around. Really, really is fascinating how he maneuvers into very tight areas. I really would like to try that myself. I think that'd be cool. Okay, let me check in with you in a little while as they dig more. Hey, let's check in on the guys. It's only 119 degrees out. Hold on a second. So it's going to be a little noisy for a minute, but you can see that they are scalping and adding, but then they hand finish with the shovels in order to make the straight edge. You can see there. So you can see they hand finish, and they have to keep the walls wet in order so they don't collapse. But it's all about the hand finishing and how the steps will be placed. They try to leave as much soil in as possible so they can get it. But this portion over here where the triangle is we're going to have a seat. So it all comes together. Just stay tuned. Be glad you're not out here working with these guys in 119 degrees. But it's worth the look because it's going to be beautiful. I'll check in again with you in a minute. Hey, I'm just going to pop in and out. But the truck does a lot of the heavy work, but the real precision work is done by the workers, where they really scrape out and make the walls squared off. You can see how they scrape individually quite fascinating. It's a very interesting process of getting the actual shape of the pool, but it's really these workers that give you the final perfect level on the pool. Well, it has been a long day here digging out this pool, and if you look over my shoulder, it's very exciting to see the first day come to a completion. So as you can see, all their hard work of using the hand shovel to get the walls more even, this has prepared the pool walls ready for the next process, which is putting in the rebar that strengthens the pool, and then they blow in the cement to form the actual base of the pool. And as you can see, the form is taking place here. That's our shelf for lounge chairs. We've jutted out just a bit, and we'll have 3 fountains that pop out over that little bench so that you can just swim over and sit casually and enjoying a drink in the pool while the fountain blows over your head in an arch. Doesn't that sound exciting? And here they'll frame up the jacuzzi, and the pool goes from a gentle 4 feet with steps down. Right now the steps are just a slope, but there will be steps. They're going down, and it will continue from 4 feet to 5 feet. And it's still 30 feet long, so you'll still be able to do laps in this pool. And I'll just walk around here so you can see the length of it this way. So once they get it all framed in and that rebar goes in, we're set for the next phase. It's very exciting, and the next phase consists of the rebar and the plumbing, and all the plumbing that goes from the filter, which will be over here, and has to run the pipes to the skimmer, that's what's jutting out in the middle, to around to the jacuzzi. And the heating system has to all work within the pool and the jacuzzi as well. So that's it for today. So catch up with me. Keep watching us on YouTube and on Twitter. And I'm Tony Montuori on Home Design Concepts. And I will join you in a week. I have to go do some work on the East Coast. So I'll pick it up, and you should see a lot more progress when I get back. Thanks. Hi, I hope watching these episodes of this magnificent pool going into our backyard is helpful, and you learn new tips and what to look for. I was gone a week on the East Coast working on a project, so I'm back, and we're finally out of the hundreds here in the desert, but I just want to show you how much has been done in a week. As you can see, there is now what is called rebar, which is the reinforcing of the pool walls. That is all in, and the white pipes are all the plumbing that goes in to really make the water flow through the pool. And as you can see, I'm going to come around here. This is where the skimmer is, and these are all the pipes running around the pool. And as you can see here, running to where the filter will be. The filter will be right there in the backyard. So it's very exciting, and now you can really see the shape of that ledge shelf that is for the chaise lounges. And over here, let's see if I can make it go closer. Those 3 pipes coming up are our fountain feature. So they will spout water up over the pool when we turn on that system. And as you can see, the water has the jacuzzi has an angled front, and that the water will overflow. So we picked our tile out, and the tile goes at the border around the edge of the pool under the coping, and then that's actually your water line, because after the gunite is poured in the concrete, then we pick our PebbleTech to go in, and PebbleTech must be submerged in water at all times. PebbleTech, when it is exposed, can dry out and crack. So when the Pebble Tech is actually the finish inside the pool, you can do finishes such as plaster. There is a hard Pebble Tech. We're picking the smooth, smaller Pebble Tech, and there's actually multitude of colors that you can pick. And I'll show you that in our next process as we go through the whole finishing of the design process. And I told you they were going to leave extra dirt, and they did. And so once the inspector comes in and approves all of our pipes and they do a pressure test on the pool, then we'll be able to start closing it up, get our gunite, and move forward. So here it is right now, September 19th. And we've gotten quite a bit done since the middle of August. So I'm excited, and I will tune in again when the inspector's here, and we'll show you how this pool progresses. October 1st, it's gunite day. They're going to start putting the concrete in to the forms that I showed you on the pool. Let me show you what's going on. There's guys everywhere. There's guys who are going to let the concrete go in. They have to reinforce on the walls. They put up plastic everywhere because I guess the gunite goes everywhere. They're working on our jacuzzi, fixing a few things. We passed inspection, so that was a wonderful thing. And then they wet down the walls before the gunite goes in. So the process is going to be an all-day process, and everybody plays a part in working here. So this is the gunite going into the pool. And he's very precise, and he builds it up slowly. It's very fascinating. I know I keep using that word, but it is very fascinating. Because you just think about swimming in your pool when it's done with the water and it looks beautiful. But this is how they build up the walls and secure it so it doesn't move and last forever. So this is the gunite going in, and that's where the seat is that they will form afterwards. I'm going to keep shooting, and I'll come back and we'll join again. As you can see, the walls are slowly taking shape here. This guy is a true artist. The way he blows it in. Really gives a whole form to the pool. So now you can see it's really starting to take form as it dries, and they actually start smoothing off the top and making different sections. Let me see if I can get really close here. So they actually make the top edge, and that's where the coping will sit on top of that. It's an additional topper that makes it look pretty. This is just the underneath portion that keeps it looking formed and to the point. As you can see, they're really starting to form the top and edge of the pool as the concrete hardens a bit, and they can make the ledge. And as the pieces go in, here they're readying the walls for the rest of the gunite to go in. As you can see, they had some in. They still have to form the seat, but they need something to hold up the gunite to build up the wall. So the process does take all day, but they do a nice smooth finish. Everything is done through an eye for leveling. They use a special machine in the very back. I don't know if you can see that behind him. And that gives you the sight line. You see that a lot when they're building roads. They do a sight line to see what the height is. They do the same thing here, so everything is perfectly level. And then they just form the pool. So they're up to the jacuzzi right now. And you wonder, how are they going to form a wall? Well, they actually put a board up, and he blows in the concrete, and it forms the wall behind it. So the process does take quite a long time to get through and do what they need to do. But it's not just like pouring concrete on a sidewalk. It really goes in very slowly and methodically and precisely so that it has a great form and structure. But again, you can see here, they put up this little wall here, and that's going to hold the concrete from blowing back further, and then they can remove it and move down further. Here he is blowing it in against the wall board. Thus we have plastic up everywhere because the gunite goes everywhere. It's such force that it's getting blown in. He builds up the wall slowly and then adds more to it as it dries and becomes more permanent. So the process is very slow but exact. So they actually switch off as sections dry, then they can go back in and add another layer. And they keep doing this around the whole edge of the pool until the guys will come back in and form. So I'm just going to keep shooting and showing you the process, and I'll tune back in so you can see it. But it is interesting how they build up the layers after the dried concrete or semi-dried concrete can have more added to it. So then it covers the rebar which is underneath it, which gives it the final support too. It's only 10:30 a.m. They've been here about 2.5 hours, and as you can see, it just forms quickly. They're doing the jacuzzi walls right now. He's straightening out with his level and making sure everything's perfect for the tanning shelf. They still have to do the side towards the house, but the seat is in, which you can see here from this angle. It really is coming along. It's hard to believe. They actually form all these extras like the steps, which will be going in over here. There'll be a step down and jacuzzi. That all gets hand done and hand formed. This is not an easy job, that's for sure. Right here, you can see how they really have removed the wall board, and you can still see the rebar. So he will add another layer now that walls are formed, and they can attach more concrete to it. He's blowing in the bottom portion and filling in walls now, but they're smoothing out everything, and it's all hand done. I mean, the end product, to get to the end product, is all hand done, and that's the important part, is they level it out, and it really is looking great. I'm just going to leave this running for a little while. I'll let Nick fast forward. So here you can really see in the filling in process of creating the wall when there's nothing to support it. He just holds that board and the concrete forms, and then they come along and do the finishing edge. They already are working really hard on the jacuzzi and the spillover. So they really have formed all the walls. And here they're creating the seat inside, and then there'll be an extra step in the corner so you can step down into it. But everything gets measured and precisely put in. I'm going to back up just a little bit so you can see it more. And remember, this is the undercoating. The PebbleTech goes on top of this and all the finishing touches. This is just what holds the form of the pool. So all of that rebar gets covered up and it's the reinforcing underneath. So the true craftsman work now is in the finishing touches. It's easy to blow it in, I guess, even though it's not easy. But now the hard part of really fine-tuning the walls and making them straight and getting out the extra, and it really does come together. They don't have to be perfectly smooth because, again, the PebbleTech goes over this, but you can see how the seat is really formed. In the whole process, the spillover is taking form, and then the wall board gets removed once the concrete really is drying, and then it just stays solid. I mean, truly is absolutely amazing when you think about that there was nothing in here. And then they use that machine that you see there in the back on the tripod, and that is what they set so they know everything's at level, and then they come back and level it out. Okay, I will join you when they got more done. I mean, there's no words to say how fascinating this process is. Just watching all of them work together, it's just incredible to me. I mean, I do this for a living, and I'm still amazed every time I see the process. So I want you to tune in a month from now and watch the finishing process of doing the coping and doing the landscaping, putting the paver stones down, putting the PebbleTech in. And I can be here to help you on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. And remember, I'm Tony Montuori Jr. with Home Design Concepts. I'm available to help you. Remember, it's interiorconcepts30@yahoo.com. I'm available 24/7. Right now, I'm sitting in a showroom in High Point while some of the process is happening right now. And you know, I travel all over the place, but I've tried to bring you new and interesting things. And I felt that the creativity of going from a plain flat sand backyard to a pool and a wonderful desert landscape was worth breaking up into two parts. So join me in a month. And don't forget, we are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. You can find us everywhere. But reach out and follow us. I'm having fun doing the shows, as you can see, and I can't wait to do another show with you. I'll see you in about a month.